joining us. It is Mayegun live. And thank you very much for joining me from wherever indeed you are joining from. You are joining us. Remember that after reading the caption of the broadcast, please read the description of the broadcast as well. Like it, share it, invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them that Mayegun today, Mayegun is live. So we are going to be one direction camera tonight, just so you know. There's not going to be switching tonight. I'll tell you why later. So for those who possibly have been following the news, last week, the news was that the former governor of Sokoto State, Tambuwal, who also happened to be the former speaker of the Nigerian House of Representatives, and he's also a current senator representing a part of Sokoto State after serving 8 years as governor. Now, he's been accused by the EFCC, accused of stealing 189 billion naira when he was governor. So that was the headlines last weekend. As we approach, another weekend, the headlines has changing again. First, his release. Then secondly, his political associates, friends from all these sides, besieging his residence in Abuja. Then after that, he returned back to Sokoto State. The same people supposedly he stole from, right? To an heroic welcome, which also is making headlines. And for those who have been following the political, developments left, right, and center, except for those who probably couldn't be bothered, people like us have been following it. And you see, the way we are able to kind of like understand these rogues to some extent, because we may possibly never really understand them all through, to some extent, right, is because when you hear them speak, either in public or in private, there is always, apart from everything they say, right, there is always what they are not actually verbally saying, but codedly saying as well. And at the same time, it is also, through their engagements that you get to kind of like gauge, the people's, view and all that about them. And all of these are always very much like in the open, like it's always there. Some see them and just be like, this is just a pure waste of time and all that. Others like us kind of like take our time to review it, which is what you subscribe to on Mayegun's Diary Political. And we're going to do that tonight. Remember that the most talked about kind of like political group right now in Nigeria is about their coalition, this coalition, that. As much as so many of those, their political stakeholders are either pretending not to be bothered, or they continue to raise a different kind of like false flags just to eat up the system. That's what they call it, eating up the system. So in northern Nigeria, from what we have gathered so far and believed that it's going to get worse, right, is that the preachings to their supporters or to northerners who themselves have like expressed their disgust, you would say, like displeasure with that call with their end bad governance protest last year that ended badly. Remember? So the politicians are building on that, telling them that Tinubu has shown so much contempt for northern Nigeria, for the people of northern Nigeria. He gives no damn about them and he hates them. That's what they are kind of telling their people there. They are making their people believe that Tifnumbu appointing his own crooked co-travelers represent the southern Nigeria. And therefore, southern Nigeria is enjoying so much under Tifnumbu, while northern Nigeria is bleeding. You see, this is the rhetoric up north. And people like Tambuwal and others right now are pretty much like a building up on that sentiment enough that it seems to be working. Just saying. Because while they were having a kind of like a swell day in Sokoto, in Kaduna, the story is different. Not for this ADC and this opposition per se. El Rufaya was in town, maybe still in town. You know, they are organizing what they call the by-election or something, right? So El Rufaya is in town. He's been on their radio, he's been on the street and all of these places, you know, trying to put to test their ADC coalition before 2027. And it seems to be going well. So Obasanjo, who is their governor, because before this time, it is believed that El Rufaya had been chased out of town, politically irrelevant anymore. Most of his supposed political associates have been neutralized. So his return kind of to his own supporters is like, you know, is back, kind of. Anyway, let's start with the Tambuwals. Because right there in Zaria yesterday, in Kaduna, while Obasanjo was also out to test their own popularity, I think when they got to Zaria, well, it became more kind of like violent, because mob that I believe they are the Zarians, the people of Zaria, upset with them, with the APC, their governor, the speaker. They were all screaming, Bamai, Bamai, that is, we don't want you, and stoning them. And you do know what that means, right? So let's go to Sokoto, where Tambuwal received what you can call an heroic welcome, because he went to fight with the EFCC. Oh, that's another part I seem to have left out. Let's add it. His arrest is because, yeah, they said he stole 189 billion naira. And it was to be kind of like arraigned. Now, when he went to see them, he said that it's obvious that he has nothing to hide. And it was pretty much like a witch hunting. I've been a wizard hunting. That means Tifnumbu is using the EFCC to intimidate opposition. He's been doing it to so many of them behind the scene, forcing their hands to join APC. So he told his supporters, I think we should first see that part of his entrance to that state, Sokoto, and this was yesterday. I was going to share this with us this afternoon before one of my camera kind of like packed up. So fair enough, it's not a big one. So I had to kind of make it this evening. So it may be a long night tonight. So please share the broadcast if you haven't already. So the first part is entrance yesterday. That was him. They said the trip from their airport to his house took over 4 hours to navigate through the traffic of his own supporters. Then it was time for him to tell them what happened, which he did tell them. And I will tell you a bit before I play you the video. So according to him, the EFCC accused him of stealing, and he denied stealing anything. He's got nothing to hide. So then the EFCC said they will need to provide sureties, like guarantors, to come and stand for him, as in before he could be released. And he said he told them that he was a former speaker, he's a former speaker, a former governor, a serving senator, and if those kind of like positions are not enough for the EFCC to release him on self-recognizance, then they should keep him. And he said they released him. So then he went on to tell his supporters that it is a pure witch hunting by Tifnumbu to use the EFCC to clip or clamp down on opposition. And he asked his supporters, "Oh, would you want me to go to APC?" They said no. "Would you want me to remain with coalition and ADC?" They screamed yes. And many other things he told them. Listen.
Hey,
I was first invited by the EFCC and I went there voluntarily on my own volition, without being coerced, without being forced, on the 6th of August. That was my first visit to the EFCC. I was interviewed, I was interrogated, and sometimes they let me go back home with a view of coming back on Monday, the 10th, 11th of August. I went back after hours of interview and interrogation. I requested that I should be allowed to go back home as did the last time, so that we can take another day for us to continue with the interview and interrogation. I was told by the operatives interviewing me that I need to get someone or some people to take me on bail. I told them to go back and tell the chairman of the EFCC that I am Tambuwal, our speaker of the House of Representatives of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for 4 years. With an unblemished record. And I served the people of Sokoto State for uninterrupted years of 8 years. And that now I am the Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I should be allowed on my personal recognition. More so, I am the holder of the honors of the Commander of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. When the President came back to say that no, the chairman had declined, that I must get 2 directors from Federal Civil Service and some other conditions for me to be granted bail. I should get them as my sureties. And this was around 5-6 p.m. And they have to get letter of introduction from their employers. My lawyers, 3 senior advocates of Nigeria about me. They appealed and appealed and appealed that the conditions of bail be varied, that liberal conditions be given. They refused, and I had to be taken to cell M23, where I rested till the following morning. Of course, we were able, by the grace of God, your prayers, to get and meet the conditions of bail, and I was allowed to go yesterday. Now, why now? Why at this moment? When